100.
Welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon with my man RT and my man Big E. What's going on, fellas?
Not much. Just recovering from that game yesterday. You know,
What? Who played yesterday?
That Red River rivalry, OU Texas.
I got one thing to say about that game.
What's that, Tony?
I really think it's embarrassing what OU did yesterday.
Yeah.
To have people spend that much money and drive up there to watch that game and get hotels and food and all the things they do. I think it was a piss poor effort for OU's offense, defense. I mean, not to score 1 point, getting a field goal or nothing. Going into it with your tight end and your two backs running the Wildcat. We had 6 quarterbacks warm up, and you couldn't put nothing out there produce, and you're a Power 5 program. You talk about Venables, and I like Venables. I'm just keeping it 100 because that's what this show is. You have Venables as the defensive guy. Mm-hmm. You had Libby, come from the SEC. Was it Ole Miss?
Ole Miss, yeah.
Ole Miss, and that's what we put up. I mean, we recruited. So you tell me all those guys that we recruited as QBs, are we just wasting time? Everybody wants to say it's Lincoln Riley's fault, but I'm going to say BS on that because, Lincoln went over USC, and these guys that we recruited, they still got recruited to come to OU, a Power 5 school that's in the top 10 each year, and we lose 3 games in a row. To me, is it coaching? Is it the players or what? But you got to get it fixed because I'm telling you right now, if I'm a parent that has a kid that's committed to OU and I'm looking what they're doing, you're not going to make it to no bowl game. You're not going to make it to a playoff game. I know next year they're going to take 12 teams.
Yep.
But shit, you couldn't get into 12 they was doing it this year because, it just looks like you're not going to fix that. And you look at the remainder of their schedule, only team you might beat is West Virginia.
Yeah.
And that's me. I know this is E's deal, but that's just my little point of thought, and you guys can chime in and tell me what you think too.
Yeah, it was a pretty piss poor effort as you described it. It was really tough to watch. I was at work, and I'm back at you got the TVs at the front, and I'm in the shoe department way in the back. So I have the cashiers. They're all giving me updates on the game and what's going on. I was like, just turn it off. Y'all just turn it off. But yeah, it was tough, but I'd be lying if I said that I expected us to win that game, but I definitely didn't expect us to win or get beat that bad, not putting up any points, which I know not having Dylan Gabriel, that kind of hurt. But, none of those. You could tell that the depth at the quarterback position is pretty slim. So hopefully that'll change in the coming years. I know we have a 5-star quarterback committed to OU right now, but we'll see if that holds true when signing day comes around in December. But, and that's another thing about the recruiting. Everybody's saying that we're going to lose recruits. I think we may lose 1 or 2, but you look at what they're doing and how much depth or positions that they don't have a lot of depth at, and you look at these guys that are committed, and a lot of those guys that are committed are guys that are going to be filling those roles in those spots where we don't have a lot of depth at. So you might see a whole lot of freshmen and sophomores out on the field next year for OU. Yeah, like you said, I really, looking at the rest of the schedule, the only game I can see us having a chance winning is West Virginia, maybe Iowa State. But
they're not even I don't think they're going to get bowl eligible. You got to win 3 more games. You got to win 6 bowl games, 6 games to get to bowl eligible. And right now they're sitting at 3-3, and you got Kansas coming in. Don't think good about Kansas. Deuce is out, and their quarterback gets hurt. But I thought the backup quarterback did a good job.
Yeah, backup quarterback did a pretty good job.
The thing about it though, man, you look at it, man, it doesn't look like they was prepared for that game. It looks like, hey, they jumped on the bus, rode down there. Let's hit the fair, let's get home. But it doesn't look like they was prepared for the game, man. The outstanding receiver for OU, I only think he caught 1 ball yesterday. I think they had 37 yards of passing. I don't understand. It's 4th and 1. You take out the young man from John Marshall. Was it Majors?
Yeah, Marcus Major.
You take him out and you put Gray in, a little smaller back on 4th and 1. What are we doing? It's like it's mind puzzling. I mean, puzzling. Then you look at Venables after the game. He does the speech, and he takes forever to get in there, and they're waiting on him. And and he really didn't. And I know it's tough on him because I know he wants to win. Coming from Clemson, being at OU, he's won some national championship over there, at Clemson. And you come back home and they start off 3-0, and you're like, man, this team is disciplined, this team is fired up, and you see all this hype. But then it's like, man, it seems like all those guys are just those guys that was playing those first 3 games went away, and they're not even playing no more. And I know they're banged up. Believe me, it's banged up. And I do think if Gabriel plays yesterday, they do score some points. But your backup got to be ready, though, man. Then you got the Evans kid they talk about, and you got the Booty kid they talk about. These kids not – I mean, I'm telling you, if I'm those 2 guys, Evans and Booty, I'm packing up and getting in the transfer portal right now because you're telling me – you're slapping me in the face and telling me I'm not good enough. But, folks, we do have a special guest today, right, guys?
We do.
Here at Keep It 100, man, we go out and we search and we try to get the best on this show. And I tell you, man, with high school football going on, good shout out to E. He went to the Choctaw Deer Creek game. Congratulations to Corbin. He's a step closer to winning his first district championship. I know he's played for a state championship, but now he gets to get a chance to win that district championship and knock off Lawton. The next 3 teams he got, I think, is PC and might be PC Original. And I don't know who else he got. I don't know the schedule right in front of me, but I know he got Lawton and PC, those 2 teams. And, they had a heck of a game, played a great game, ended up winning that game 28-16. Did their job on offense and defense. Latrell Ray was kind of the leader of that team that Friday night, carrying the ball 35 times for, 200-some yards. Good job by him, 2 TDs. I just tell you, I mean, Deer Creek, I was kind of listening a little disappointed because I thought it'd be a little bit better game. And, I know Mr. Green, Dennis Green, said back in the day, he said, they're not who we thought they were. That's what I'm saying. Deer Creek's not who I thought they was. I've been hearing a lot of hype on Deer Creek. Friday night, he covered the game, got a chance to do a little interview with Coach Corbin.
All right, so I got here head coach of the Choctaw Yellow Jackets, Jake Corbin. This is a big win tonight, huge district win, and,
Yes.
This puts y'all in the driver's seat to win district. So talk about the win tonight and how it came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, shout out Ethan Davis, Choctaw alum, Stingham. Right, appreciate you and what you do. It was a big win. I mean, we know that. Deer Creek knew that. We knew that. Sitting yourself in the driver's seat doesn't mean that you've done anything yet. But bottom line is you're one step closer to getting a 1 seed, and winning the district title. And that's our first goal, is win the district title, and then it's 1 game at a time after that. But we obviously, made some mistakes, got some things to work on and get better. But, I'm really proud of the physicality of our team, come out and just the effort that they play with. The longer I do this, to be honest with you, I just like being around kids that try really hard. Yeah. And I'll go to war with those guys any day of the week. Those guys go and get after it and scrap and claw and love each other and love this team and love the coaches, and coaches love them. And it's a lot of fun to go to battle with them.
Yeah. And, talk about some of the key players in tonight's game. I mean, you saw Jacoby McLean all over the field, Jack Smith making a bunch of big plays, and then, Latrell Ray. So talk about some of that.
100%. I mean, you just named them. I mean, all 3 of those guys, tremendous people, tremendous athletes, tremendous leaders, right? Tremendous teammates. All 3 of those guys, team first guys, do whatever it takes to get the job done. Just give tremendous effort. You know what you're going to get with them at all times. Some unsung heroes of the night, Connor Stoke, inserting himself in the blocking game, doing a great job. O-line just played phenomenal. D-line, defensive, secondary played phenomenal. Just it's a team effort, man. And our guys are so fun to be around because they get that. They want to win. If they have 100 touchdowns or 0, they want to go get it done and do it for the teammates. A lot of fun to be around.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
It's good to see him go back to his school and get that interview, and it's good for you to go back home and root for your team and see the good things they're doing, man. And the guys are playing good, and see Will Smith, a young man we had on the show. Me and RT ran over to the Rock. And it was fun, though. I tell you, man, a lot of kids. Taffy's one of the standouts guys. Congratulations to him. He just
Lindenwood commitment.
Signed with Lindenwood. Big up there in is that Missouri, Kansas City?
Yeah, it's I don't know what part of Missouri, but I know it's in Missouri.
A good school. I mean, they got a great wrestling program. I know a little bit about wrestling because a few years back, my son wrestled the number 1 seat in the nation, and when they was in regionals, and he beat Gabe 2-1 in overtime. But so I know a little bit about that program. So, but folks, like I said, we do got a special guest today, Mr. Cale Gundy. the one and only former OU coach. We're going to talk a little bit of high school recruiting. We're going to talk about his next chapter and things like that. And I'm just privileged to have a young man like himself on the show and get back to keep it 100, man. And it's to me it's pretty cool when we get somebody like that to come on our show, because here we are in the basement, but we keep crawling out and we keep doing our thing. Us three men. I mean, like I said, the website is up, so come check out the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have put that up. Pretty much HR Jessica did all that.
Yeah.
So,
Shout out to Jessica.
Her and RT kind of worked on it, man. We're gonna update it every day, each show. Like I said, there's a lot of things we can talk about. I think we're gonna have him on here about the next 10 minutes. I think we're gonna try to recap real quick.
Yep.
Week 6, and then kind of go from there.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Let's finish on college football. My fault. We can recap after Gundy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So also OSU, they had a pretty good game yesterday. It was a lot closer than I think what a lot of people were expecting it to be, but
kills me.
but it ended up being a pretty good game, coming down to the wire. Mason Cobb coming down with the game-sealing interception. So Mason Cobb has been balling out for him, and then Spencer Sanders. I mean, every game it looks like he's getting better and better. So
you guys think he got a chance to go to the NFL?
Yes, sir.
I think he does. I think depending on how the rest of the season plays out, I think if the draft were tomorrow, he might be a guy that goes in 4th, 5th, 6th round. But
that's if he goes. He has another year.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But if he keeps improving, maybe he plays himself into like the first 2 days of the draft. So he's been doing really good with his arm and his legs. So and I've been kind of trying to keep up with OSU more this year, and they look really good. They got a young receiving core that's pretty good.
Why is that?
What's that?
You just trying to be a better journalist, or your other team just don't give you anything to look forward to?
Well, maybe a little bit of both.
Keep it 100. A little bit of
both, but
keep it 100.
But no, it's always fun to watch OSU just because they have been an underdog the past few years, and
it's Oklahoma team. It's Oklahoma team.
Yeah, it's an Oklahoma team.
Players.
A bunch of in-state players, and it's fun to watch.
The top receiver Green is from Norman, and I mean that kid is balling out. I mean he's gonna be the next. Your Woods, your Blackman, your Des Bryant. I mean, the kid is balling out. I'm just telling you, it's fun to watch the young man. But I'll tell you what Oklahoma State got.
What's that?
They got a D-line.
What?
Yeah.
They got a D-line.
Said it late, but got it straight.
They said, man, I was listening to the commentator yesterday. They got 11 guys that can go on that D-line, and I'm telling you, man, they're fresh. Oh, you can't get no pressure with 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys.
It was good to see Trace Ford get in there and make some big plays after missing 2 seasons and coming out like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, then you got Colin Oliver, you got Brock. I mean, the list goes on.
It goes on, man. They had a young man got a sack, number 53. I don't know his name. I think he played a little bit of nose guard, but man, he has a couple great plays, man. After the games, you can see the guys patting him on the head. So it just shows you, man, what Oklahoma State does, and Gundy does a good job. And I'm not talking about Cale, but Mike does a good job of recruiting kids in states. And you still got some guys. Middle City got the kid that came out of Middle City. You still got Donnie Stevens. You got Jeff Roberson. So they got a bunch of kids in state. And Presley, I mean, he's doing his thing, but he still ain't had a really breakout game yet that he can show his speed. And you still got the baby brother Presley there. So it just tells you what Gundy's done with the in-state kids, man. And it seems like you probably need to start trying to pick some of the kids from our backyard, because some of these kids you're getting from these other states, maybe their state high school football is not that good, because we got some players here in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that day in and day out. We got some guys that can go. So congratulations, Oklahoma State, man, sitting at what 6-0?
They got 5 on it.
5-0.
Hey, 5-0. I'm sorry, 5-0.
Got 5 on it.
They got 5 on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good deal with them though, because they're balling out of control.
Yeah, and it's cool to see how OSU, they're not, you don't see them pull many of those 4 and 5 star recruits that everybody's on, but they're able to do what all these teams that can pull those 4 and 5 star recruits with these 3-star and some of these lower 4-star recruits, and they'll be able to hang with them. So I said it last week. I still think they're the favorite to win the Big 12 conference, and I think if they do that,
I don't know. Texas looked pretty good. They got their starting quarterback back, man. Even though he looked like somebody from what's that one show?
I don't know.
God, Hillbilly. The long hair, man, and I mean he makes the game look so easy. I mean he does. The kid is just a freshman. He had one of the top. He left, went to Ohio State. He came out early, then he comes back and transferred back home. And he just makes it look so easy. And the backup quarterback, and they got 2 quarterbacks. We can't get one at OU. and you look at Caleb Williams, man. I mean, and he's out there at USC balling out of control. And
Yes,
Lincoln Riley sitting at 6-0, man, 5-0, 6-0. He's doing this thing, and you just wonder what can OU do to kind of get back, man. I really know that Venables wants to win, man. And you know how people are, man. OU fans are the worst. Coach Jones been giving me a hard time. He's like, "Oh, I know you're hurting, Tony." I like OU. I mean, I don't have a bunch of OU stuff. I don't fly no flags. My money goes towards UCO. So, don't get me wrong. I love to cheer for. I cheer since we've been doing this podcast. We're covering these guys. And we've had a lot of Oklahoma State kids on this show. So, if you learn to start liking OSU because you're following these young men, but I hope OU can get it turned around. I really do. For the sake of
they will.
For Lincoln Riley and his crew. He might have to make some changes. And then sometimes it sucks because it's part of the job, but it's either he go or some of them assistant goes, and so I think he wants to stay because buying a home here and making this his home, so I think he wants to be here.
Yeah, I think it's a rebuild. It really is. Making that transition from he's been a coordinator his whole coaching career, and now he gets his first head coaching job. It's a big step up, and he's learning just as much as these kids are learning his schemes and everything. He's learning what it takes to be a head coach. And, you look at it, Nick Saban, his first season, he went 6-6. Bob Stoops, he went, I think it was 7-5 or 5-7, whatever. So, there's things to be learned and adjustments to be made and everything. I've been saying it for the past few weeks, especially. It's just buckle up for a rough season if you're an OU fan. I mean, it's a transitional period, and everybody's learning. So, but what was that?
You can't jump off the train.
No,
fans
absolutely
are ready
not.
to throw in the flag and it's over. But you can get it turned around and win out. They can be a spoiler though for the state. And make sure they don't get to go to the national championship or to the Big 12 championship. So, OSU's done that to them a few times. So now maybe they can be the spoiler. And you don't want that, man. You want Mike to get a chance to go play for national championship, especially if you got the players to go do it, man. You want your team in Oklahoma to go do it. You want to cheer for Oklahoma, Tulsa, and Oklahoma State, and some of the D2 schools because some of our kids are there. So don't be a hater, man. I just hate, it's so funny, though, because people I didn't know was Oklahoma State fans. Now you see them in orange. I'm like, what? Then you see all these kids on the sideline, I'm getting recruited. No, you're not. You just got some free tickets. Keep it 100. I'm not talking to spoil anybody, take that from anybody, but there's only so many kids they can pick. They only with scholarships you get 85, right, RT? So every kid that's sitting in the stands, you're not gonna go, but you top notch kids. I don't know. I know Franklin from Muskogee had a chance to go. Hope he got a chance to go, and that's a kid that's probably the I will say the top QB in the state. I'm gonna put him there. I know a lot of people would argue that, but I'm just gonna say, man, watching the kid and what he puts up week in and week out. He probably got over 30-some touchdowns already in his his sophomore campaign. So
24.
He got 24.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he didn't throw that many the other night.
He only threw 4.
Oh, he only threw 4.
Just 4.
Just 4.
Yeah,
just
4.
just 4.
He's averaging 4 TDs a game.
Man, I tell you, that 6'8", that 6'8", hey, that 6'8" gonna be hot though, man. With my 4 teams, I will put Choctaw, Stillwater, Muskogee, and probably Deer Creek in the mix. That'll be my top 4. But one of them's gonna have to go through each other to get there. Muskogee and Stillwater will probably play the last game of the season.
Yep.
For the district championship, and whoever wins that game. Then the loser of that game would have to go through Choctaw to get to the state championship. And the other one, Deer Creek would have to go to the other to get to the state championship. But I don't know if Deer Creek got enough, so we'll see. But, we're getting close to bringing Gundy on. Y'all ready to bring him on real quick, guys?
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll be right back after what?
After one of our sponsors.
Keep it at 100.
Oklahoma High School Sports.
Right back.
With 25 years experience in the industry, Linex Customs OKC is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle accessory needs. Specializing in spray-in liners, lifts, levels, wheels, tires, bed covers, and anything else you need to make your ride look and sound better. Call Eric and the boys at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday. I do mean Sunday afternoon. Joining us on the show today is Mr. Cale Gundy himself. What's up, Cale?
Man, Tony, I'm doing great, my man. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain, man. You know, we had a rough day yesterday. Being a Sooner fan, but you've been there long enough, and being part of the program and seeing the ups and downs, and you know what they got to go through to get themselves back. But like I said, what you got going on this Sunday afternoon?
Well, I actually just ran up to the store, had to get a bunch of groceries. My wife sent me with a list. She always makes dinner on Sundays, so
there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good time.
So I have no problem going and getting that, and just kind of sitting around watching the NFL games, man. I like to watch a lot of the former players and see how they do.
That's good stuff, though, man. Kel, on my show I have Mr. R.T. Sherman and Mr. Ethan Davis, RT's son, played up at Oklahoma State with your brother, so he got a chance. He's a big OSU fan, man, so he's been giving.
Yeah, they're playing well.
They playing really good. I mean, we just got to talk about, when you watch the show, you'll see. We talked about Mike, man. He deserved it, man. And I tell you, he got those boys playing good, man. You always kind of wonder, one thing about him, he does a great job of recruiting kids in the state of Oklahoma. And if you look at him, man, I mean, and he gets them out there, though. I mean, he does a great job, man, getting these kids, man. Some of the kids that people won't go get, he goes and gets them, and he plays them at a young age. So I think that's really cool what he's doing with that. But Kel, let's get into what you're going. I want to ask because I played high school ball with you back in 90, 91, and at the time you was one of the best QBs in the state of Oklahoma, probably in the nation. And we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have Snapchat or Instagram. We barely had a dial-up phone back then.
Hey, that probably gave me a good chance to be good.
But I just want to ask, man, because I remember, I talk to these guys all the time. We talk about you on the show and playing with you and us being ranked number 2 in the nation back in the 90s. But I just want to ask, when you was getting recruited to the recruiting now, because now a lot of these coaches, they go off the Instagram and huddle. How was it with you? Because I remember we had a dinner at your house one time, and man, we're sitting in your backyard, and your phone is ringing and ringing off the hook, and we're trying to have that, we had that Thursday night dinner, and eventually your mom finally took the phone and took it off the hook for you could eat. So, for the listeners that don't know, man, because like I said, I do know a little bit, but tell us what was it like when you was getting recruited, though?
Well, I think probably a good part of the reason why I was had as much recruiting that I did was because of my brother. Having an older brother, a few years older than me, that obviously was recruited and a very good player in the state, and obviously at the one of the top, if not the top program in the state, Midwest City at the time we were growing up, and so he did a great job making sure everybody knew who I was through the process, and when he was playing quarterback at Oklahoma State. And the biggest difference is, I mean, you're recruiting young men nowadays that are ninth graders and sophomores, and I'm talking, I mean, you're on the phone with them. I mean, it's crazy. Back then, if when I was a sophomore or even a junior, the only time you ever really visited with a college coach is if you went to the game. If you went to the University of Oklahoma and watched the game, and you would visit with the coaches a little bit before the game, maybe afterwards, and the same with Oklahoma State and whatever. Nowadays with, Twitter and Instagram and through all the direct messages and the texting you can do, you're developing these relationships at such an early age, and it's hard. I mean, it is really, really challenging. I had – here at the University of Oklahoma, I had offered, and I usually do not do this, but I had 5 young men this summer that were freshmen going into their sophomore years in high school that were they came to our camp. They were very elite, and it was obvious that they were going to be good enough to play for us. But I had developed really good relationships with them. I still have a couple that still call me, and the parents call me. Awesome. And it's tough. It's challenging when you have, I was fortunate. My son and daughter are older. They're both out of college. A lot of these coaches, they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. They got children at the house, and you come home, you need to spend time with your children. I come home with just my wife and I, and she wouldn't care if I talked to her or not. I mean, I've been around her for 30 years, so I'm on my phone doing my work, and she's a lawyer, so she's doing her stuff. But it is a big difference. It really is.
That's big time. RG, got any questions?
Yeah, just to piggyback on the high school recruiting itself, I got a question for you. I'm going to use a kid as an example. The Muskogee quarterback, who's a sophomore. You just mentioned freshmen and sophomores now getting a little more exposure than previously or years ago. The kid is in his second year. He's started for 2 years. He's had 24 touchdowns this year, and I want to say probably about 43 total overall in the last 2 years. How does someone like a kid like that build relationships with coaches or get on the radar to possibly be considered to receive an offer?
Well, most of the young men will go to camps when they're young, when they're in mid-high, junior high, or whatever. Your freshman year, sophomore year. Most of these young men will go to the college camps. They're going to go to Oklahoma, and they're going to go to OSU and probably Tulsa, and then they will do some other camps, but that's how they're getting noticed. And then we're just I'm not coaching anymore, but I lived on my cell phone. I'm on social media, and if anybody's good, I'm going to see it. It's going to pop up. I follow Oklahoma high school. I follow Texas high school, their Twitter pages, and so also coaches have areas. So, for example, I always recruited the greater Oklahoma City area in the Metroplex in Dallas, Fort Worth. And so, I went to those schools 2 times a year, and anybody who's in that system, anybody who's in that program, we would know about as a freshman or sophomore. And you bring them back and you enter their information into our programs, and you just start to track them. And those young men are coming to our games as well. So you're getting to know them and know them well. And obviously you got the young man at Mustang High School that's committed to OU right now, who I recruited for a long time. So you got people like that are on the team. And so it makes it happen. It makes it much easier for that way.
And you brought up you were over Oklahoma and Texas as far as recruiting. Why does it appear as if Texas is so far ahead of Oklahoma in regards to talent? What do you mean, the state, or are you talking about the universities? The state. For the high school players coming out looking to get recruited, it appears as if Texas has a little bit more talent. Is that more just because the state is just that much bigger, or
they just have so many? It's crazy how many. I think one time we did a deal. I think in 5As and 6As down there in the state of Texas, they got more 5As and 6As than we have in the whole state of Oklahoma, from Class B, A, all the way up to 6A or whatever. It's just you got a larger number, a group of people down there you get to choose from.
Gotcha.
They take it very seriously. They start them at early ages, just like we do. And, all the help that they get away from the season and in the off season. So many young men nowadays are really kind of focusing in on one sport, which I'm not a big fan of. I believe in playing multiple sports, but a lot of these young men are just playing one sport, and that's what they're doing all year round. And they have trainers and coaches on the side.
Okay, I got one last question for you. Over your career of coaching, was there a kid that slipped through your fingers, or you passed on, that later on turned out to be an awesome player?
Oh yeah. Shoot, I can't just give you one. There've been multiple.
Okay.
I believe everybody, being honest, would tell you that. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, the schools, like a University of Oklahoma, they're going to take 25 players. Give or take, you're going to take 25, depending on, your scholarship. You can have 105 scholarship, 85 scholarship players, and depending on how many players you have leave that year, if you have 18 leave or 22, you can replace 18 or 22 on scholarship. But if on average, if you're getting 25 scholarships a year, and you're going through a lot of players in places like Oklahoma. Oklahoma recruits nationwide because of the tradition and the history. But even if you're not a program that does it, you're still, let's say that you're recruiting, this team recruits only 4 or 5 states. You're looking at a lot of players. So there's a lot of decisions that go into it. If you're looking at running backs and you're going to take 2 running backs in a class, you're probably going to look, anywhere between 200 and 300 running backs all over the country. And, you do the best you can to get to know them. You do the best you can to get to know their background. But sometimes they get there. You're just not with them every single day. If you had a chance to go down and be at that high school and watch a young man, from 9 to 3 every day in school, and watch what the kind of person he is, and watch what he is at lunch, and watch what he is in the gymnasium around his other friends, and how he acts and how hard he works, and is he a weight room guy? You would know him a lot better. So you're going to miss on some of those guys, and I have. There's no doubt. I've missed on my share. I know that, but I've also got a lot of them too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, yes, you have. Sticking on the recruiting side of things, what's something in your career of being a recruiter and a coach? What's something that you wish that recruits would know beforehand, or something that they should know to maybe help them stick out a little bit more, get themselves noticed more, or just the way that they should be acting, with the rise of social media, doing things on social media and all that. So just some tips for some.
There's a couple things. One is the social media is such a heavy influence, and my social media, right now, and I'm not, again, I'm, just take Twitter, if I go to my Twitter, and I don't follow as many. I don't follow the players that I used to, but I have. I'm following 70 people. I used to follow about 105 to about 115, and about most of them are either all recruits, or they're former players, or they are my family.
Yes, sir.
So I don't follow anybody. I don't follow one young man that I went to high school with. I don't follow any of my best friends I went to high school with. That doesn't mean I don't love them, because I do love them. That just means I've got to focus on my work, because that work can it can eat up so much of your time. But social media, I mean, we look at it and like crazy. I mean, we have reports on it. We have people. We have student workers in there that will look at a young man's, all of his social media that he's on, and we will meet on it once a week, and we will have a printout before we go into this meeting. And if there's anything negative, foul language, any kind of abuse, anything towards women, racial, anything, it will say right there. And we will make a decision if we are going to continue to keep recruiting, or we're going to find out through that coach, or we're going to talk to that young man or his parents or whoever and find out what's going on. And then I think the other thing is that I've learned over the years is this, and this is one thing, if I could get this across to every recruit, every young man who's going from high school to college, this is a journey you're on, and it's not easy, and it's not easy anywhere. And with this transfer portal that we have, and there's some good to it, but the easy way and the easy thing is just to quit and give up and point fingers and go to somewhere else. So let me tell you what, it's going to be every bit as damn hard somewhere else as it was at that place.
Yes, sir.
And it's okay, the players like at Oklahoma, there's not one of them that come to Oklahoma that was not a great player during their high school career, or probably wasn't the best player on their team growing up in little league or junior high or whatever. So all their life they've had so much success on the field, and all their life they've been told how good they are. Well, then all of a sudden you go to the University of Oklahoma or Oklahoma State or Texas or wherever. Well, you're surrounded by everybody else that's done the same stuff that you've done. And you know what? the biggest problem is they all think the people on the outside and a lot of their friends and their families and their coaches back home, everybody thinks they should just walk in and be a great player right away. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It happens to the very, very small elite, but I'm talking the very few. So there's a process. Go to that school, get in that weight room, bust your butt off, learn, watch a lot of tape, go to school, get a great education. And you know what? If you don't step on that field to maybe 2 years, hey, that's fine. But just don't say, well, I spent 6 months here. I'm not playing. I'm on scout team. Coaches don't like me. They're not giving me a chance.
Right.
So as a coach and a recruiter, what I used to do is this. I made damn sure that everybody in that family and every coach at that school or whoever that was in touch with that young man knew this is what it's going to be like. I used to almost scare recruits away. Man, you don't want to come here. I'm going to tell you this is a grind. We're going to be on you every single day. We're going to make sure you're going to class every single day. We're going to make sure you're going to see your tutors when you're supposed to. You're not going to be late. It ain't easy here. And guess what? The real world ain't easy.
Right.
It ain't easy. It's a hell of a lot harder once you get out of school and get in that real world than anything else. But I always try to prepare them for, hey, this day's coming and it's okay. And so when you call back, when you're laying in that dorm room one night and you call back home and talk to your mom or your grandma or your dad or a coach, they're going to tell you, You remember what Coach Gundy told you? He told you this was going to happen. So we ain't going to let you tell us you're just going to give up and you're going to go to another school. Because I've seen many players at OU over the years that in their first year and second year, either they couldn't play or they were lazy or they didn't have a good work ethic, but they stayed the course. And some of them are still playing right now, making millions, but only played maybe 2 or 3 years at OU. So it's a journey. It's a process. Stick with it, but keep working hard. And that's the only way you can get there.
Yeah. And then I got a couple more questions just going back to your time at OU. The whole, this is kind of old news now, but when Lincoln Riley announced that he was leaving, I heard a few interviews from players and, what their thoughts were, but you didn't hear a whole lot about what the coaching staff was feeling. So from a coaching standpoint, what was the reaction out of the coaching staff and everything once that was announced and what it was happening?
Well, here's the deal. Every individual has a right to do what he believes is best for himself.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer of that in life. And that could be you too. If somebody calls you tomorrow and talks to you about going somewhere else, if it's better for you, you're probably going to do it.
Yes, sir.
You can't worry about what people on the outside are going to think about you. And I'm great friends. I'm great friends with Lincoln Riley. I'm still to this day great friends with Lincoln Riley. I talk to him quite a bit. I talk to a lot of the coaches on the staff. I know why he did what he did. I understand it. But people get mad because why are you leaving the University of Oklahoma? Hey, he can do what he wants to do.
Right.
That's his choice. But I do know this: whenever the years that he was here, however many years that he was here, 5, 6 years or whatever, how good was he? He was damn good.
Yeah.
He was great. He won games. He won championships. He produced unbelievable, talented quarterbacks. He was a great recruiter. He was all in. Never was there one doubt anything of him not being great at the University of Oklahoma. He gave everything to the University of Oklahoma. People ought to be thankful that he came there. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it hurts, but you got to. That's just part of it. That's life. We understood as coaches and what went on. Now it was a shock to us. He came in and shut my door at 12:40. We had a meeting at 1 p.m. that day and said that I've taken the job and head coach now at Southern California. And I said, hey, man, congratulations. I wish you the very best. I want to tell you thank you for everything that you've done at this place.
And then, on the flip side, what was the reaction when Brent Venables was announced the new head coach at Oklahoma?
With who?
Just I mean, within the team, players, coaches, all that. I know with when there's a new guy coming in, there might have been some thoughts of am I still gonna have my job here or
there's always thoughts of that.
Yeah.
There's thoughts of that everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Every single time a guy comes in, and because that guy has his opportunity to pick and choose who he wants on the staff. He basically picked and choose what he wanted to do with me at the end of the day. And you know what? That's fine. He can do what he wants to do, Brent's had a great career. He's been very, very successful. He's been a very good recruiter. He's been a hard worker. I have no idea what in the hell's going on down there right now. I cannot, a ton of those players on that team I recruited, and they're like family. They're like family to me. Their moms, their dads, their grandparents. I mean, that was why I was such a good recruiter, because of my relationships that I built, and that part has been very difficult. I cannot explain to you because they're not that bad. They're not. I can tell you that right now. They're not that bad.
No.
There's no way. So something's going on there that ain't never been going on there.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, I've been a part of it, and whether I coached and played for 27, 28 years, I ain't never seen anything like it. So I can't explain what's going on. So.
And then the last question I have for you is, just what's next? Are you just gonna are you gonna try to get back in the coaching game at some point, or you think that that's a closed chapter of your life?
I really don't know. It's hard to say right now. I've been taking some. I'm doing stuff now I've never done in my life. I've never had a fall. I started playing. My dad put me in little league football. I used to play for the Viking Purple. Started when I was 6 years old, and over in Dale City, and
Sunny Lane.
Sunny Lane. Yeah. So, but I've been in sports and in football all my life, and whenever I got out of college, I immediately went into coaching. So, the 4 years I spent at UAB and the 22 years at Oklahoma, for 26 years, I never done anything in the fall before. I mean, I went to my brother's first 2 games at OSU. I've never been to a college football game in my life that I wasn't either coaching or playing in.
Wow.
I mean, my wife and I, we rolled in there and we finally find our place to park, and we're going into these, trying to find what door to go in and where to go from here. And we get in the elevator. She goes, "What button you push?" I said, "I don't know. I ain't never been to my brother's office before, And I walk upstairs and she goes, "Which way?" And I'm like, "I don't know," So, but I've been overwhelmed with people, friends, coaches, and players, and because I know who I am. I love people, and I everywhere I go, I'm overwhelmed with people stopping me, and man, that keeps me going. So I'm taking some time just to relax a little bit. I'm going around and watching some of my former players and guys in the NFL, watching them play on Sundays, and taking some couple vacations here and there. And you know what? I'll figure out what it is. I've got some stuff going, but man, I'm just I'm thankful and blessed to have had the opportunity to be a part of and do the things that I've done in life. If my life stopped today, I've lived one great life, and I know that, but I don't know what it's going to be. I really, really don't. But whatever it is, I want it to be around people, because I love people. I love people, and I love to teach. I love to educate. I love to help people, and I mow the yard like twice a week. I mean, my yard it's the best yard in the whole neighborhood.
That's it.
I've got it tight. I go up to my dad's my dad's he's got several acres, and I mow his, and I've got a lake house I go to spend time. So, just matter of fact, I had a neighbor the other day driving by outside my house the other day. He stopped. He said, why are you mowing your yard? I said, well, I don't have nothing else to do. He said, well, he goes, can you get me the card of the guy who mows because there's another person that mows mine when I'm not around.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, do you need me to come down there and mow it? I said, I'll come down there and mow it if you want. Hey, I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow.
That's it.
I play a lot of golf. I ride a Peloton bike every morning and
enjoying life, Cale. That's what it is.
Enjoying some life.
That's awesome.
Well, Cale, I got one more question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
You talk about being in coaching, for 20 some years, and times has changed, and I tell you, I get kind of frustrated. And I have a young daughter; she's a good athlete. I have a son that wrestled at UCO. And you look at now, they got this NIL deal, and these kids are getting it, man. And when you played, and like I said, when you was at UAB, then you came to OU, you didn't have these things. Now, do you think that hurts the game a little bit, or are you for it?
Boy, I don't like how it's going down. I don't like the direction it's going in. Do I think that we should have found a way to, give these student athletes money and help them out? Yes. I would have liked to have just seen the NCAA do a blanket deal and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Every student athlete, they can decide on the different sports, because different sports are bringing in different money,
right?
And there are only one or two that are bringing in the money. The rest of them, they're paying money.
Yes,
but like football, you could have said, okay, we're going to give every football player, $2,000 every month. 4 months in the fall, 4 months in the spring. Let's see if that. Let's just start with that. Let's see if that will help them. With their groceries, or maybe going to the movies, or going to dinner, or buying some extra clothes, but they opened this deal up, and I just don't think it's good. I do know this, that a lot of these deals, almost all of these deals that you hear that these young men are getting, they are not true. They're fabricated. There's a young man, quarterback out in California that committed to the University of Miami, and they were saying he's getting $10 million. That's not the case. It's not even nowhere close to that. He's getting like a fifth of it over a 5-year period. So a lot of this stuff is kind of fabricated. Some of it's true, but I think what you're going to run into is, you're going to have, in every school is going to be different. OU's going to have a handful. Some schools may only have maybe one player who kind of gets good money, and the rest of them really aren't going to get anything. So you may start to get some separation, some finger pointing, and I just don't like that. You got to earn stuff, and but I do think that if they could come across the board and kind of help everybody out a little bit and help student athletes out, I'm all for that. I just don't like just opening up the Katie bar the door and, we're going to give you $200,000 or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy now because now they're dipping into the high school kids, and
I know
it's crazy, And I mean, I had a joke the other day. I put my daughter on Tony Fawcett's
Wheaties box.
No, I put her
Frosted
on
Flakes
because I'm Tony the Tiger, so I had to put her on there, and it says she's great. But it was just a joke. But you got these young men. I saw a couple of kids that's in high school, and they're doing it. They're putting themselves on Wheatie boxes, or they reach out to me, and to me. Like you said, you started off in the Viking Purple League, and your dad or whoever coached you. Go out there and play the game. Football is a game that you love to play, and some are talented enough to go D1, D2, or NAI, but play the game because you love the game.
That's right.
Not because you want to make money off the game. And if you make it to the NFL, hey, that's great. But you're
right.
getting I tell people all the time, these kids are getting their scholarship paid for. That's $100,000.
No doubt.
That's $100,000. That your parent ain't
at
gonna
least
come out of, or more. The parent ain't gonna come out of their pocket. So be happy with that, and they still get a little bit of checks each month. Some of them get $1,500, $1,600 a month. and you get all the meals you can eat. So I don't know what these kids else can want. I mean, I granted you do make a lot of money out of the universities, Alabama, OU, Georgia, all these teams. But, you know, maybe if a kid's jersey sold or something like that, they can make a little bit of money off it. But I think we're going overboard. And I know Ethan, brought up the transfer portal. I watched the game last week, man. There was a kid that played on 4 different teams. To me, man, be loyal. I mean,
Yeah.
And back in the day, who's he going to say who he liked? I mean,
Yeah.
he played on 4 different teams,
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. But here's the other deal, and I mentioned it earlier. And I used to tell my guys in meetings and stuff and players all the time, you guys need to be thankful and appreciative of what you got right now. You guys, most of y'all have dorms to live in. We got a cafeteria. We provide you meals. I mean, equipment room gives you clothes, because when you leave here, ain't nobody else going to take care of you. And when you 22, 23, and when you step outside, like I mentioned earlier, the real world don't give a damn about you. And you ain't got no dorm to go over there and sleep in. You ain't got no cafeteria to go eat no food in. So get an education and work hard, and things will take care of itself. But I think we got to stay away from just thinking, man, I'm just in this for the money and what can I get out of this? Because once they get out of there, it's a whole different monster.
And the most important thing, they need to get that degree. You see a lot of these guys go off to college and they play 4 or 5 years and don't have a degree to fall back on. That's the most important thing, is to get that degree. You can go get a job, pharmaceuticals, work at a business, something, but fall back on a degree, man. Just don't go play college ball, because you can go play 1 year, 2 years, and get hurt and never play another down. So these guys I preach that to my own kids. Get that degree. So Cale, man, I really appreciate you coming on, keeping 100 Open My Sports. I know you're a busy man. I've probably seen you. I used to see you at Jay Bodie's when you would fill that truck up and get on the road. I mean, I'm not I'm all over the state now with with my job. But I mean, I appreciate you coming on, man, because like I said, I know you from since back in the day at Midwest City. When you was over at Maroney taking care of business. I mean, people don't know Cale used to have a great jump shot too back in his young day. Hell of a baseball player, man. The kid was just all around great athlete. But like I said, I appreciate you coming on the show and giving us the opportunity to talk to you, man. Because like I said, I know the real Cale Gundy. He's a hell of a man.
I appreciate it, man, and thank you very much. And you guys, hey, call me anytime. And I mean, I love what you guys do, and educating and talking to people and letting people know what the truth is out there. And any question you guys ever got, if you ever sit there and wonder about something, just text me, call me. I maybe I can help you out with it.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Cale. Well, you enjoy your rest of Sunday afternoon. Go Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, they up 9-3. So we'll see.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you.
See you, Tony. All right, guys.
Bye. Well, folks, that's Cale Gundy, man. I tell you, man, it's good to have him on the show, man.
Definitely was.
He went through some shit, but I tell you right now, man, he's a stand-up guy.
But who doesn't?
No, I mean, you're right, man. Right. I mean, you're right. We all, like I said,
it's only one perfect man. That was God.
That's God. Yeah. And I tell you, man, he learned from it if he was right or wrong. But I just tell you, man, for him to come on the show, I mean, we're a piddly-willy basement, keep it 100. But it just tells you right there.
It all depends on who you ask. Because if you ask me, and I'm gonna keep it 100, I'm the best thing ever.
I like it. You said it late, but what?
Got it straight.
But it's good though, man. These great questions, man. I mean, it's just good to have somebody like that on this show, man.
It is.
Because I said we're building our platform, man, each and every day. I like I said, I thank him. Didn't really want to get into all that other BS because
it doesn't even matter.
It don't matter, man. Because he's a hell of a stand-up man, and I tell you right now, to have him on the show, man, I'm really appreciate it.
I love the fact that he educated the young and up and coming student athletes on the do's and don'ts, the pros and cons of recruiting.
I like, what I like, and I like how he talked about, when my boys are getting recruited, and I was to tell them, man, and they didn't, playing all that cussing and screaming and all that junk.
Yeah.
Don't put that on your Twitter. You heard it from the man.
So basically what he's saying, young men and women, if you're listening, your social media platform is a form of your resume.
It's your resume.
So as you get into the real world and you put on your experience, that's like your huddle. But then at the very end, they're always going to ask for references. Well, guess what? Twitter, Instagram, Snap, Facebook, all of those social media platforms are your references. They have enough money to hire someone to just basically follow you to ensure that you have the character needed to in order to be a student athlete at their program.
Because one thing you don't want to bring is you have a hell of an athlete and he comes to your school and he's a knucklehead, and like he said, he goes to ask the cafeteria worker, because they can't get to every school, so a lot of their work is done by your social media, your Twitter page, your huddle page, and then when they do get a chance to talk to your coach, don't let the coach say and then these coaches like because it lets them know, man, this guy's a great player, but when you say that but, it makes me think, because I mean what's he gonna bring to my program? Right. Like he said, you get kids that come in there every day, and he's right. You got guys that come in there every day and they're the man on their campus. But when you bring somebody in from Georgia, Miami, all these different states, then they come to this one practice at Oklahoma, OSU, Texas, North Carolina, wherever you're at, and then you got 6 of you. You're like, man, that guy's just as good as me or better than me. So now you got to keep working. So now you got to show that coach, that position coach, that hey, I'm gonna outwork George. I'm gonna outwork Mike. And if you don't, guess what? You're gonna fall back in the depth chart. And guess what? Most of those kids want to pack up and get in the transfer portal, go somewhere, and still don't play because you're gonna run into the same thing like he said at different schools. But man, that was great to have him on the show, guys.
Yeah, it really was,
man. So we're gonna go to commercial. We'll break. We're gonna go to commercial real quick after what?
After one of our sponsors.
Keeping it what?
100 Oklahoma High School Sports.
Right back.
Man, Dad, all this crazy weather has gotten our roof and gutters all messed up.
Good thing we know some guys over at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters. They can inspect and repair your roof and gutters and get in contact with your insurance company in 72 hours or less.
Call Jay Hunt at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters at 405-473-0674. No job is too big or too small for Rain Down Roofing and Gutters.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. We're gonna recap some of the games from last week, and then we're gonna talk about some of the matchups that we got coming up this upcoming week. So, starting off in 6A1, you had Norman North versus Jinx. I don't know what's going on over there in Jinx, man, but
they got some guys banged up.
Yeah. Oh, they got some guys banged up.
Is that what it is?
Tailbacks banged up, and I mean Jinx ain't. I mean, the thing about it, when you are Jinx, state champion last year, and then you add Bigsby to the mix, and you got kids that pack up, their quarterback packs up and moves and goes to a different school, transfer portal in high school. Yeah. So you lose a lot. So you're expecting this kid. He won him a state championship as a true freshman. He packs up. He's over at Union now, doing his thing at Union. Union is sitting at 6-0. Norman North, man. I mean, their quarterback is balling out of control. They won 2 big ball games. Beat Broken Arrow last week in overtime. They come back and beat Jinx at Jinx, and that's tough. I mean, they packed up, got in their bus, drove down to Norman North. But Norman North has always been a pretty good school. It's where the Stoops boys went, and Drim Traber's son went there. So they've always had some great athletes.
And the QB's name, Six Killer.
Six Killer, that's it.
Ooh.
Six Killer,
man.
He got 6 in the chamber.
Man, stay ready so he doesn't have to get ready.
6 Killer, we got to get you on this show, boy, because you balling out of control.
332 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Man, that's big time, boy. That's big time.
Very. Moving on to 6A2.
Whoa. Let's go back.
Okay, my bad.
Bigsby wins their 55th consecutive win.
Hey, flash that. Hey, when you get a chance, flash that.
5-5.
Boy, that boy, hey, Mr. Hey, I tell you, the young man we had on the show, he balling out of control. Yeah. He's starting to get some offense. Hey, he's starting to heat up, man. He hit me his little huddle page and from his game and it just, man, it kept dinging yesterday. Ding, ding, ding. People liking it. And that just tells you right there, young man, you out there balling. You're doing good things. People are seeing what you're doing, man. And like I said, hey, he's going to get that offer. He's got some good offers, but hey, that one offer's coming. It's coming his way, the one he's waiting for. But I got to say something real quick. Broken Arrow beat up on my man, Zoe. I talked to Zoe yesterday, man. He said, Tony, I'm in good shape. I got to go beat, he has to find a way to go beat Sophomore, which he should. He'll have to probably face Union again in the first round. But, he won that Moore War. He said that helps a lot. So
it does.
Zoe got some young guys. His tailback is beat up. So injury's tough, man. I mean, it's tough.
In addition to that, he lost a few kids that just transferred out.
Yeah. One's over at Bishop McGinnis.
Yeah.
Got the chance to watch him play. Good little linebacker. Kid got good size, man. I mean, he really do. So, hopefully Zoe can get it figured out because Moore got back on the winning track after losing a couple games that beat up on sophomore pretty bad, man. I guess that's another Moore war. But Moore took care of business. Coach Brian gets his third win of the season, so he's sitting at 3-2. My man, he's still balling out of control. Cedric still, I think he had 9 catches, and some good yards, but he came up short, man, against Owasso. Owasso, man, is that right? 1-4?
Man, that's crazy.
Norman North is sitting at 2-4, so those teams are fighting to get in the playoff. Mustang keeps rolling, man. Mustang, I think me and the RT was kind of talked about in 6A Big. I think the 4 top teams is going to be what, Union, Bixby, Mustang, and probably what, Jinx will be the top 4 teams, or maybe even Norman North would be that one of those teams. Right. So kudos to those teams, man. Here we got 3 weeks left of high school football. And then we're talking playoff, man. We're going to be on the road, so we'll be traveling the next few weeks, get out there and seeing some of these teams.
Yeah,
6A2?
Yeah, 6A2. Deer Creek Choctaw, probably the best matchup in one of the better matchups in the state. Best matchup in 6A2 this past week. Man, it was a great game. It was great to be back out there. The thing about Choctaw games, that whole community shows out.
They do.
And,
they shut the town down.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere out there. So it was great being able to go out there.
Shout out Corbin.
Yeah, shout out Coach Corbin. It was great being able to talk to him. Some of the other coaches, Coach Nichols, and then Coach Vinzer. He's not coaching no more, but saw him for a minute. And a few of my former teammates. So it was always cool. But it was a great game, a huge win for Choctaw. Puts them in the driver's seat of their district. Yes, and a guy that you don't hear much about, but who had a great game was Jacoby McLean on the defensive side.
He balled out. Number 40. He balled out.
He did. They call him 40 Cal over there because he'll go over there and hit you. But
bang, bang.
I tell you the thing about Jacoby, though, man. He's done a little bit of everything for Choctaw. The kid plays running back. He's played some linebacker. He's played some O-line. When they was beat up on line, he played some linebacker the other day. And I'm
Swiss Army knife.
I tell you, right, a jacks of all trades, man. And that's good for the recruiting, though. He tells the coaches, hey, I can play anywhere. And a lot of these guys make it on special teams until they find a position that really fits them. So great job to Jacoby, man. Good, really, really good job. Like I said, shout out to Corbin, man. I gave him a text this morning, told him congratulations, and he said, hey, it ain't over yet. We got to go take care of business. But, looking at that 6A too, I think the top 4 teams is going to be, Choctaw, Stillwater, Muskogee,
and Deer Creek.
I tell you, finally, Booker T kind of got back on the winning track. They're sitting at 2-2. They beat Tahlequah 47-0. I just tell you, man, that Ronnie kind of got mad at me the other day. It's not that I'm saying these teams are playing JV schedules because Corbin's wouldn't play a hell of a non-conference game,
Well, in reality, they only have control of who they can schedule in the non-conference. But come district play, you really don't have any control.
No,
of that.
You got to go with the conference.
And when you look at Oklahoma high school football in many years, and definitely this year, you maybe only have 2, maybe on a good day, 3 teams in each district. So technically, by default, district play, you're not going to have a really strong schedule.
Well, RT, before we move on, I want to say, because you're looking at a U.S. Grant, you're looking at a Capitol Hill, you're looking at a Tahlequah, you're looking at you're looking at some of these teams, Northwest Class, and maybe they need to put them in their own league of their own because, man, they're but
then that will make that
maybe
6A
move some
small.
Well, maybe move some of those. I'm just telling you, man. These guys, man. Because I'm talking to Jones. They had a running clock the second half, and to me, I don't think that's fair. People driving that far, coming to the game, and when you got games like that and you're beating teams 50-60-0, that's when you put your B teams, your second and third team guys, and let them get the glory of scoring and playing on a Friday night lights instead of a Monday night and getting their name called on the big intercom. So I just think we got to do something about that. The state of Oklahoma, I always say, look into that, man, because I just think you're hurting a lot of teams, a lot of kids' performers. It's like I know a couple weeks ago, Choctaw played. Was it Capitol Hill? And I think still threw one ball for 52 yards and a touchdown. He can get a chance. You know what I'm saying? He probably could have threw for 1,000 yards that night. But you're not giving these kids a chance to get their stats up. Because everybody wants to be player of the year. And we're gonna have our own little keep it 100.
Player of the year.
All-state team. We want to have our little all-state team. Yeah, keep it 100 team. From quarterback to running back to lineman. So I just think that You look at Sand Springs, man, a team that's supposed to be pretty salty, knocked off DLC last year, and they get beat by, Stillwater. I mean, Stillwater must be the deal, man. I mean, they're putting up a 50 piece on everybody every week, beat them, 58-7. But we'll move on to 5A.
Well, wait a minute. Kind of like what you were saying was some of those teams, it is a good opportunity for the team on the losing side to play all of their players, and then on the winning side to play some of your JV players. But speaking of that, Muskogee blew out, U.S. Grant 66-0 in Bird, Jamarion Ficklin. He actually only played one full quarter, if that, but he still threw for 4 touchdowns.
So think if he plays the whole game, he would threw for what?
He's already at 24 this year, and I want to say 43 as a career in just a year and a half. So, I mean, if you want to talk about padding stats, I mean, he probably could have been close to 30 touchdowns this year already if that was the case.
Yeah. That's crazy, though. Moving on to 5A.
Moving on to 5A. This
McAllister.
game, McAllister and Coweta.
You know what?
Hey, you know what happened?
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened.
Tell me what happened.
Just like OU, the OU commit, Eric McCarty, he lost by 49. Isn't that what happened?
Man, I don't think this would happen. I think he got banged up. I think Coweta's that team that no one is really giving a lot of credit to.
A lot of respect.
No, they're like, man, and that Mason Ford, everybody look at him like, man, but when you see him in person, you're like, that kid can go. And they got 3 or 4 other little Masons on their team, man. And they got a 6'5" tight end. I mean, they got a number 30, man. The kid played, outside linebacker, DN, and I mean, he made
the
some
receiver
plays.
that turned quarterback is nice.
Oh yeah, but you know what, man? I'm gonna ask you guys this though. Let's keep it in 100. What are you gonna do when the other quarterback comes back? Who do you go with?
I think you play them both with different packages to keep the defense confused and honest.
Yeah, man, I'm just telling you. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to go back to the starter because what he's done, man, he's putting up big numbers. He can run. The kid can run. The kid can throw. He kind of reminds you a little bit of a Day, over at Dell City. Probably a little bit bigger, but
we had an awesome game.
Had a great game.
Did.
11 for. I mean, I think he was what was he? 14 for 18. 5 touchdowns. I mean, just the kid gets better each week he gets on the field, though, And I tell you right now, Robert Jones is probably clicking his heels like Toto because right now he's still sitting in the driver's seat. But he can go knock off Coweta. If he can beat Coweta by 2 points, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna get the district championship.
The number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed, and that's what you play for. Your first goal is district championship. Then your second goal is getting the playoffs, and let's go try to win the gold ball.
Right.
But he got to take care of Coweta, and they're gonna come to his house on senior night. That game gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be cold outside, but it's gonna be hot on that field.
Yes, sir.
And guess what? Who will be there?
Keep it 100.
100.
So guess what? Guess where we was at? Speaking of 5A, we was at the Bishop McGinnis Guthrie game.
The Rock.
The Rock. The Rock.
The Rock.
And just like last year with Bishop McGinnis and Guthrie, as well as even when Carl Albert was there, it always comes down to the end of the game or overtime. And sure enough, this one did.
Well, you know what, RT, let's talk about this real quick because we both got a chance to go to the Rock. And
so many turnovers.
So
like
many
5
turnovers.
fumbles,
but
2
I tell you,
interceptions.
though, man, it was just like it's so funny to watch the game because you watched the McAllister game last week with Dell City, and you come and watch this game, and it was like a slow paced game.
Right.
But I tell you, shout outs to Bishop McGinnis. Guthrie going down catching that pass. I don't know if RT has it, but it was a great catch at the end of the game. Well, not the end of the game. Well, at the end of the game to send it
tied up.
Mm-hmm. Gertie go to overtime. And then Bishop gets the ball, drive right down number 2. Don't know his name.
They had that tip pass.
I think it was out of bounds.
Right.
But, I was thinking.
The sideline was kind of wavy a little bit. So
you're playing on grass out there at the Rock. They got the little tractor running on.
Oh, wait. To start the game out, they brought the game ball in the helicopter.
First time I've ever seen that.
What?
Landed on
That's
the field.
big time, Guthrie.
Yeah.
I love the atmosphere, though, man. It's a small town, but, I mean, it's kind of like the OU Texas.
Favorite stadium.
Guthrie's fans sit on their side, then they come all the way around this side with the band, then their fans. Then you got the visitors team sitting there next to some of the Guthrie in the band. So a great atmosphere, a great place to go watch high school ball. Carl Albert take on, McGinnis this week, and that should be a good game. That's going to be whoever wins that ball game be in the driver's seat for winning another district championship. They took care of business against Southeast, beating them 78-team. I know
X-Rob
had a great game with 15 carries, 200 yards, 5 touchdowns, plus a kickoff return. So great job to him. He's one of our player of the week from Keeping 100.
I believe in 5A. I do believe in that district too. I believe Carl Albert will come in as the number 1 seed.
Okay. So who's your top 4 teams in that then?
In 5A,
Yes, sir.
definitely Del City, Coweta, McAllister, and Carl Albert.
Okay, but if Eric is hurt, you still think McAllister still can get there? Because right now you can look at him; he looks kind of banged up right now. You might
that's tough because he does all the running for McAllister, and he definitely leads McAllister's team, if not the state in 5A, in tackles. That guy is a tackling machine.
Yeah,
big time. But everybody keep talking about all these other teams, but everybody ain't talking about the team that won it last year.
Collinsville, yeah.
I mean, they just went out there and beat up on who's that team?
Nathan Hale.
Never heard of them.
See, you just said who is that team?
But they get another victory. They're sitting at 5-0 with a 63-6 win at Nathan Hale's home. So I just tell you right now, the people I keep talking about, and everybody's laughing at me, but you got to watch out for my man over at Grove. Grove is sitting at 5-0. I mean, that's not going to be a team that you're going to be you can't miss out on. I mean, they won 48-14 against Will Rogers, but you can't sleep on them Midwest City Bombers.
Yeah.
Coach Hall, he said I started slow, but I'm going to finish fast. And right now they're on a good move right now. They got a tough game coming up this Thursday night. A lot of games will be played this Thursday night, folks, because of fall break. But some of the top games will be played on Friday night. That Bishop McGinnis and Carl Albert game will be played on Friday night. So come on out, keep it 100. Come look for us, man. Come take pictures with us and do all the good things because that's what we doing. We keep it 100.
Yes, sir.
4A. I told you, Blanchard beats Tuttle.
Yeah, and a very, very close one at the last second. 0.2 seconds left on the clock. Blanchard, they snap the ball. I think they're at the 7-yard line, and they throw a little corner route in the end zone, and they catch it and they win the game with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. So
and Cushing beat Wagner 42-0.
Yeah. So I mean that 42-0.
We talk about Blanchard and some of their losses come from Noble and Piedmont, but like I said, we're not even talking about Piedmont. Piedmont's a team that Colorado have to face the end of the season, and to win that district championship. But Noble is a hit and miss team. I mean, sometimes they look really good, but they knocked off Blanchard. So Blanchard's 2 losses come from Piedmont. I mean, granted, they're Noble's in the same class as no, they're both 5A teams and knocked off 4A teams in a non-conference game. But hats off to those guys over at Blanchard, man, knocking off Tuttle. Their arch rival. Tuttle's a state championship team. But I tell you right now, they're kind of struggling, losing 2 games this year, losing to Blanchard and losing to Guthrie. So it's going to be interesting these next few weeks. It really will be.
Before we get into next week's games of the week, can we run through real quick some of the players of the week or highlight some of the players that had good games?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to start out with X-Rob with Carl Albert. He had 200 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. Then still in Middale, Day QB, 14 for 18 pass attempts, 279 yards, 5 touchdowns.
D-Nice!
And then, of course, that man, the bird, Jamarion Ficklin of Muskogee, 215 yards, 4 touchdowns, only in 1 quarter. And then you have the Norman North quarterback, Six Killer, who had a total of 332 yards, 2 touchdowns to upset Jinx. Not sure if it was upset. Jinx is just not themselves this year. And then you had Chandler Hill, 349 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's what I got this week.
That's what you got. But I got to give a young man a shout out too. Ficklin's one of his good receivers, Caden McGee, just a junior.
Is that number 8?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Number 8. Wide receiver DB, had 1 catch for 50 yards, had one interception, pick 6. So he's doing this thing like that. I mean, out there. So
he's the receiver on both sides of the ball.
Hey, he's gonna get one on offense and he's gonna get one on defense.
Okay.
Like I said, big shout out to that guy, that young man. Man, keep doing this thing. And I'm gonna give it. I know we don't know this young man's name, but I'm gonna give it up to Bishop McGinnis, kicker though. I know it ain't big time, but he ended up winning and having a winning kick. The first one he kicked,
it was far right.
Far right. Thought he was to play at Florida State. but he got a chance to come back and kick again, and he knocked it right down the middle. But there was a couple questionable calls there that me and RT kind of looked at each other like, man. But I just tell you right now, it sets it up good because you want both teams going into this Friday night undefeated, and it's always a nail biter. You could see your man Reed DeQuazy back on the field this week, coming back from
collarbone injury.
Everybody talk about still being a man of steel, but shit, you gotta give Reed some kind of name, or maybe call him the Bionic Man. You know what I'm saying? Kid can come back from an injury like that, man. You got to get up to him, man. And hopefully he can finish the season out strong, though.
Yeah.
I know Cash been doing his thing, but I think those coaches over at Carl Albert know what to do with both QBs, so it'll be really interesting to see what they do the rest of the season.
Yep. We're going to go ahead and get into the next week's matchups.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got in 6A1, you got Union at Mustang next week. That'll be a pretty good one right there.
No, it will not. No, it will not. Stop. Union's going to kill them.
All right. Well,
the Union's winning by at least 21-28.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
hold on. I don't know what's right here.
Hey, B. Ray said he ready, man. He coming. He coming to OKC. He gonna put on the show.
Okay.
I'll tell you, kind of like how Cale kind of talked about it. He talked about the Jacoby kid, man. So you get to find out what Jacoby's all about this week. Going against a great defense like Union. I think it'll be a good game. I know RT said no, but if they can keep the game close, I always tell people, if the underdog can keep the game close, it's gonna be a close ball game. So Mustang, you're gonna have to keep it close for 3 quarters.
Mustang lost against Deer Creek.
Yeah.
I was just asking a question.
Boy, you wrong.
Yeah. And then
there's no good 6A games this week to really get excited about. There may be, unless there's a few upsets.
Yeah, unless there's a few upsets. I think a lot of the 6A2 teams are on bye this upcoming week too. So,
so we're gonna pass them by and go to 5A.
Yeah, and then I don't know what's going on here. That Union Mustang game, that might be the game, but I'm looking here on Squirtle. They got a bunch of teams listed on here twice playing different teams, so there's no telling. So yeah, moving on to 5A. Obviously, we mentioned it previously. The Carl Albert Bishop McGuinness game. It's at Bishop McGuinness. That should be a pretty good one. You got Reed, possibility of Reed coming back this week, and then you got Bishop McGuinness. They're coming off a pretty close win against Guthrie, and this. I don't know. You being Carl Albert, would you call this a rivalry? Is this a rivalry between these two teams?
As of late, since 2000.
Who's that? You talking about Bishop McGuinness?
Yeah, since 2016, it has been.
You got to call it a rivalry because both of these teams have played for the state championship the last few years. I know Collinsville stepped in and took it last year, but before that, it's been Carl Albert, Bishop McGuinness playing for it. 4 out of the 5 years. Bishop McGuinness still got a good team. Like I said, we said earlier, the running back just received D1 offer from Lindenwood, so a good school up there in Missouri. So congratulations to him, being over at Bishop McGuinness, his grades is tight. So I think it's going to be good. It's going to be, Taffy versus X-Rob, their quarterback, man. Me and RT, it's one thing about us when we're on the sidelines, we meet people, get to know them.
They need to play that junior quarterback. At McGuinness, number 11.
Yeah, but you know what, man, and we both kind of watched the game, man. It seems like they want to come to a passing game, and you got some good backs. That number 7, back that played a little bit. I thought he was real nice and quick. Taffy, still Taffy. He still got young man, still got game. But I think they're going to. They went so happy. Hey, let's put this young man out and show his talent. But man, if you got a great running back, you got to go with him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, you ride that horse until you can't ride him no more, and you set that run game up for your passing game. Right, you know what I'm saying? So let them get in the box, and then when they get in the box, you go over the top. So I tell you that Carl Albert Bishop McGuinness game is going to be a good game. We'll get there early, and then I said it's going to be a really good game because whoever wins that game is going to win district and have a chance to go be the top 4 for the state championship.
Yep.
And then another game to highlight in 5A, you got Midwest City at Lawton Mac.
Man, that's a tough game.
That's a
tough game.
For the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, Midwest City's won 3 in a row, man. And really should be 4 in a row, and lost to Carl Albert. Had the lead against Carl Albert and just kind of fell apart, and Carl Albert ran away with it. But I just tell you, Coach Hall's he's a Hall of Fame coach. The guy's won some gold balls, so he knows what it's take. And then he's starting to get some players, healthy and O-line. And you know how it is when you play those non-conference games, you're not showing everything, but Irvin's been balling out the last few weeks, man. I mean, he has balled out.
One of his main receivers is Broyles.
Yeah, and then he's committed to all that pressure on his chest has been lifted off because he's committed to Air Force. So he really ain't got to worry about where am I going to go, what am I going to do. He already has a home. So Irvin, keep doing your thing, and Coach Hall, keep doing your thing, and keep getting better each week.
Yep. Moving on to 4A. Good matchup this week will be Poto versus Broken Bow. You got the number 3. I think this will probably be for their district championship as well, just because the way that it's lined up. But that'll be a pretty good matchup right there. And then Chickasha versus Elk City. I think that can be a pretty decent game right there as well. So
Elk City should get the win.
I think they'll get the win, but I think
Chickasha beat Elk City, which is crazy. Carl Arbor beat the brakes off Elk City, and they're sitting at 4-1. The last few weeks they've upset some people. So, man, I just tell you, Elk City, man. I mean, they're state championship year in year out. So I think they're gonna be right back there in the driver's seat to try to go get another one. You're looking at Bethany, Coach Ginn. He's sitting at 4-1. He got the CUMSA. The CUMSA kind of started off pretty fast, and then right now they're sitting at 4-2. Bethany's sitting at 4-1. Poor John Marshall, man. I just tell you, man. Back in the day, John Marshall was one of the top-notch teams, man. They're sitting at 1-5. My man Styler, man, over at Cleveland, man, he just could not get it going. He's at 0-6. He got Wagner coming in this week, and I feel sorry for Bridge Creek. They take on Tuttle. They're sitting at 2-3, and Tuttle's sitting at 4-1. And after getting beat by Blanchard, they're gonna probably put it on them. I think Blanchard's in the driver's seat. I mean, sitting at 4-2. They play Class and SAS. They got a great kid. He's on the top. He's on the top 30 magazine and Vibe. So I mean, you get that young man going. This week, man, you got your Newcastle Racers going against my man Coach Klink, Coach what is his over there at? I'm sorry, my mind went blank. Over there at Hera.
Oh, Bleak, yeah,
Coach Blink. I'm sorry, I was calling him Clink, I guess, because he's clinking right now. But Coach Blink, man, hopefully he can get it turned around. But I just tell you, Newcastle sitting at 4-1. We've been invited out to come out to the Newcastle game. We're going to try to work something out. I don't know, but I just tell you, with all these hot games going, like I said, I want to see Newcastle. Coach, Mr. AD over there, Mr. Goose, has done a great job with them, man. And I tell you, that team is up and coming. So keep your eyes on that Newcastle Racers.
Yep. And then moving on to 3A, you got Lone Grove at Sulphur. That would be a pretty good matchup out there. And then I thought I saw another one over there. Maybe not. Who they got? Lincoln Christian, Seminole. So that could also be a pretty good one. And maybe this Metro Christian versus Kingfisher. That would be a pretty good one right there as well. So then 2A, what do we got going on 2A? A lot, yes.
Not being mean, we just wish everybody luck in 2A.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Beggs, Beggs is sitting right there.
Oh, you got Veneta and Rejoice Christian. They're both undefeated, right? So that'll be a pretty good matchup right there. So, yeah. Anything else that we want to cover before?
Like I said, I mean, it's great to get out there and do these games. Like I said, you got some big games coming up this Friday night. A few weeks you'll have, like I said, that Quita. If Quita and Dale City both can stay undefeated going into that game, you're looking at a team that's undefeated in Quita facing a Dale City team that's probably gonna be sitting at 8-1, looking to win district championship. Dale City. I'm sorry, Carl Albert. Will probably be, depends on what they do this week against Bishop McGinnis. Then they have Guthrie. Then they have Piedmont. 3 softy games, man. I hope everybody can stay healthy. And
that's the key.
That's the key. It's getting everybody back. We talked about Quita. Their quarterback. I think it's Lavity. I think that's his name. The young man was over at PC North. Now he's over at Quita. The coaches they really got to figure out what they're going to do because it's kind of hard to take a young man out that's won you that many ball games.
But at the same time, it
should never lose your job though.
It may play a bigger impact if they allow the receiver to play his true position.
Man, I wouldn't want to cover him, would you?
I'm always looking for a challenge.
Well, guys, y'all have anything else before we close it up?
Just like to thank the viewers again. Everybody that tunes in every single week and likes and retweets and likes the video and watches the video and all that good stuff. Gives us love and support. Please keep doing that. It helps us out a lot. And then check out the new website. I'll post that in the description of this video, so you can check that out. We'll have a little blog on there, and try to do that every week. And then you can also see all of our videos on there as well. So
I tell you though, I know some of you guys will be like, man, y'all had Gundy on there. If you have any questions, hit us up. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on the website. We'll have that out. This show should be up come Wednesday. We're back to our regular time on Sunday. I like I said, once again, I appreciate him coming on the show.
Yep.
He's a busy man. He didn't have to do that. Like I said, I see Cale quite a bit when I was over Norman, with my job, but don't see him as much. Reached out to a friend and said, hey man, I'd like to have Gundy on our show. I text him Thursday night. And, it's funny. I text him. I say, hey, man, it's Tony Johnson. He said, I know 3 Tony Johnsons. I said, one from Milford City, man, the main one. And then he was like, yeah. I called him. We chopped it up a little bit, man. And, he said, man, you can ask me anything you want, And like I said, I think life is all about moving forward, not looking back, Granted, good or bad, I'm once again going to say Cale is a hell of a man. His brother Mike, I don't know him as well, but when the boys played baseball, I got to see him, and we played Stillwater a couple times. So I think the Gundys a great family. Ray's a great man, raised some great boys. So Gundy, you keep doing your thing, man. Like you said, whoever gets you as a coach or whatever you decide to do, you're gonna be great at it. You don't say it's something at the job in the business for 27 years if you're not. So you're a hell of a recruiter, and people know that. So. Don't be surprised at how many people come after you and after the season and try to get you on their staff. If they don't, they're dumb. Your brother, if he's smart, he'll come get you,
man,
real quick, because you can recruit with the best, man. And so
and that'd be wonderful to coach with your brother.
Man, I don't know if you want to coach with your brother. I coach my 2 brothers, man. We fight all the time. But RT, anything else before we close it up?
Nah,
Dallas Cowboys, they winning. I'm gonna go watch my Cowboys.
Yeah.
Packers, they gotta find a receiver.
Yeah, they do.
Gotta find a receiver.
Yeah, they do.
One last thing though, RT, and I want to say, man, parents, be real. When your kid is playing a sport, man, just be real. Let the coach do the coaching. I know sometimes as parents, and I've been that knucklehead, but just be real. If you got a problem. Hey, coaches, y'all got a problem with the kid or whatever, reach out to the parent, man. And reach, if the kid is not doing something you don't want, you don't like, reach out, because it goes both ways, man. And just don't be that stubborn coach and don't talk to the parent. But I just ask you, man, reach out, because, we had a little incident over at the middle school, my daughter's team, and I don't know all the details, but I just said, man, it's 2 sides to a story. So everybody listen to the story before you start making decisions, and that's me just keeping it 100, because I know sometimes I can be that dad, but concerned dad. But you know what, man? My daughter's in middle school, so I don't get to watch practice. Does it bother me? I would love to watch practice. I like to see what my baby girl is doing. As a dad, I'm taking her to training. I need to tell her, coach, what she's doing wrong, what she needs to work on. So it goes both ways.
Parents know their child better than anyone else.
That's
it.
That's all. Let's keep it real. Anything else?
No, I think that'll do it for me.
Let's close us out of here. Let's go watch them Cowboys. Dax is in trouble. What's his name? Cooper Rush. Yeah. Hey, Rush putting on the show, baby. He about to get that contract.
Yeah, they paid the wrong guy.
They did. But hey, we all make mistakes.
Yep, true that. But we appreciate you for tuning in another episode of Keeping It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports.
We'll see you next week. See ya.
I gotta keep it 1 for 100. My man keep it 1 for 100. My ladies keep it 1 for 100. My peoples keep it 1 for 100. 100.